Welcome to Finishing My Basement, Episode 24, Windows from Frame to Blinds. I thought it appropriate to start at the end, the blinds, and then go back to the frame. It's like starting with the end in mind. I knew that I was going to be using some roller blinds, and I wanted to make sure that every window was level at the top and plumb on the sides. When you frame around a window, sometimes the lumber is a little bit wonky, even if you pick out straight lumber. When I framed these windows, I oversized them, knowing that I was going to be adding some 7/16 OSB and shimming them straight or plumb. I am not going to show you any of my calculations because your windows, your job, will be different. I check the sides of the frame and then mark and measure where it needs to be shimmed out. I'm using drywall shims for shims, and I'm using a stapler to staple them in place. In this process, I did not want to cover any portion of the window just in case the window needed to be replaced in the future. I cut the OSB to width and to length. I nailed the bottom, but then remembered I didn't put in the liquid nails along the edge. The liquid nails sets up and creates a very stable corner. I nailed 2 nails at each shim location and cut off the shims. I do one side and then I do the other, making sure that the spacing is equal on both sides. You may have noticed that I neglected to put some liquid nails along the edge. I did fill in the gap with liquid nails to make sure that it was a good, solid corner. Here I'm putting OSB on the top and filling in the gap. The next steps are installing the insulation and then installing all of the surface drywall. Here I'm doing the drywall window returns. I have installed some plastic J-mold to go up against the window buck to prevent condensation from the window buck to soak into the drywall. If you look closely, you can see the white plastic J-bead. and I do the other side. As you can see, before I install the corner bead, I tape and float most of the drywall. I notch each side of the top corner bead so that it overlaps the window. I use the level to make sure that every corner bead is plumb or level and straight. If it's not straight, I use a straight tipped screwdriver to drive the nail one way or the other to keep it straight. On the side corner bead, I notch the bottom to overlap the bottom of the window and the top to overlap the top with a 45-degree cut so that it finishes out nicely. I nail it all in place, then using a screwdriver I adjust the nails in or out. Once the corner bead is set, I secure it with nails 6 inches on center, both sides. On my first coat, I mix up some speed set and fill and float the inside. Once the inside is all set up, I can do the outside. Remember, this work takes about 3 coats or more to complete. I will be going over finishing drywall in a future video. Once the inside is set, do the outside. This will take about 3 coats. The next steps is doing the trim work and then painting everything, laying the carpet, and then you're ready to install the blinds. At the end of this series, I will be going over in greater detail the installation of the blinds. I've learned that if you plan things out and do a good job, you will never be sorry. Thank you for watching. Be sure to come back and follow along as I finish my basement.